You know, it's Monday. There's new news stories. There are new tweets. There are new all the things being posted right now. As you know, I've talked about this so many times right now because and I'm passionate about this. I'm passionate about right now what everyone is consuming. I'm not telling you what to consume, not telling you what to do, not telling you what to think. There's so much out there, so much noise. Um, my my question is to well, I shouldn't say my question is. I almost feel like we're in a little game of would you rather. And I say that because it's just I'm inviting people to give, hey Linda, hey Marie and Adriana, I'm inviting people to just give this some thought. I would never tell anybody what to think, wouldn't tell anybody that I'm a guru about anything, wouldn't say that all my ideas or thoughts are absolute truth. I even question myself, like we don't know. We often don't know what the real truth is, especially when it comes to things that are happening in the world. This virus, things in the news, like we have no, what's going on in other countries, what's going on in the next town. I have no idea. Why? Because I'm not there. Just because somebody posts a damn YouTube video about something doesn't make it fucking true. So, and always, I don't think that everything that's on the news is true. So there's so much shit. And so I have to really decide, would I rather? Would I rather? I've gotten a lot of flack because I have posted and asked questions from to people who are posting either conspiracy theories or even mainstream things. Like I ask questions. When I ask a question, it's not to insult somebody. It's not to like shit on their ideas or diss them, or someone said diss. I'm not trying to diss or discredit or anything like that. But I ask questions, right? I ask questions because right now, the one thing you have is your energy and your mind, like how you think, how you have freedom of energy, you have freedom how to spend your energy, and you have freedom on how to think. My whole thing, regardless of who's the president or who the leaders are, or regardless of what's happening in the world, my whole desire for all of us as humans is to have as much freedom as we can. Sometimes it's not possible to have 100% total freedom. I think in societies, civilizations, that hasn't always worked well. So, and so there has to be some sort of regulation, I suppose. But ultimately, what I'd love to see is everyone have as much freedom as they can. And sometimes, even with rules that are put in place or laws that are put in place, I love the fact that we have the freedom to think the way we want to think. And we have the freedom to feel how we want to feel. If anyone tries to take that away from you or from us, that would be a sad day. Okay, that's really devastating. There are places in the world, countries who their citizens do not have the freedom to think what they want to think or say what they want to say. So I don't think any of us want to go there. So you have to kind of ask, would you rather? But these, anyways, back to, I've gotten some flack because there are people who are also like me, spiritual minded, law of attraction, manifestation, like consciousness, spiritual awakening, that say, how can I question conspiracy theories, or how can I be against punishing crimes of humanity and exposing like bad stuff and all that? And the answer is, I'm not. I'm all for, if there are some real disgusting crimes of humanity, I shouldn't say if, there always have been disgusting crimes of humanity going on. And yeah, expose, arrest, whatever, punishable by the law, whatever you need to do. But the question is, where am I putting my energy? Would I rather put my energy into posting or researching all day long, looking for YouTube videos that may or may not be accurate? And again, mainstream media falls in the same category for me. When I say this, it's both conspiracy and mainstream. Do I want to totally like spend my day waiting for somebody to give me the answer to this so I can post it? I see all the repostings, all the shares. Like am I waiting for somebody to tell me what's real? Am I waiting for somebody to tell me what's true? Am I waiting for someone to tell me what to do next? Would I rather do that, or would I rather do what feels right to me to get towards my vision of freedom? Would I rather help other humans get to their greatest level of freedom possible? If they choose not to, then that's fine. Like, everybody's on their own journey. I'm not forcing anyone to think of anything. So there's a great quote by Mother Teresa. So that's why I don't post things about conspiracy theories or from mainstream media. I don't post any of it. And I don't go down rabbit holes. People can feel free to send me YouTube videos and things, and some of them I might really look at when it feels right, I'll look at how people say things, how they say things, what is the feeling that I get when I read it. If it feels like sane to me, feels like common centered, and feels somewhat, it doesn't feel like it's, very scary doom and gloom, I will read it. Even if it's tough news, like there's a way to say tough news without, influencing. I can tell when I'm influenced, okay? I've studied marketing for a long time, so I can tell when somebody's marketing to me. Even if they say I'm just sharing the truth, they're still marketing. They're still marketing, and they're still trying to get you to do something or to think something so that if they need you to do something later, you will. Just like whether you're listening to mainstream news or you're listening to conspiracy theories, they're trying to get you to believe them. So when they want you to do something, so you're following them like this, like listening, you're waiting for them to tell you what to do and what to think and what's happening next, so that when they need you to do something for them, not for you, for them, then you'll be ready. Your mind will be so entrenched, you'll be so hypnotized, and you'll be so drawn in that you're so fearful of what will happen if you don't listen to them, that you will take action. I'm seeing posts now, comments now on Facebook of people who are actually taking like kitchen knives and things when they go out for a walk because they're convinced that somebody's going to snitch on them. And if they do snitch on them, then they're the kind of people, what does it say? There's a meme. If you're going to call and snitch on somebody for not social distancing, then you hate Harriet Tubman or Anne Frank, like comparing themselves to those absolute, like, you can't even, I don't think you can totally compare the two situations at all or whatever. But anyways, getting ready to fight going at each other. Why? And whose agenda is that really, really helping? Is that yours? Is that mine? Is that your neighbor's? I doubt that, because at the core of every single person, do we really want to start picking each other off because it's somebody else's agenda? Somebody else wants you to do that because you're doing someone else's dirty work. Isn't that awesome? Isn't that awesome? How by listening to all these little things and these YouTube videos and looking at these photographs, following these celebrities on Instagram, listening to all the CNN and all the things, you might just be convinced to actually take a weapon and stab another human because of it. Wow. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that, like, they had to do not much. Pretty easy. Scary. Like, scary, right? So would you rather? So there's a great quote by Mother Teresa. Some people ask, why won't I, start talking about all this? Because I won't. Whether or not I believe some of the conspiracies, I do. I do believe some of them. Not all of them, I believe some of them, but I don't talk about it. I talk about it only from my own experience, like Lyme disease. I think that's a bunch of bullshit. And I think I'm part of the government's science experiments, similar to this coronavirus. Like, I think I'm part of that, so I get it. Like, that stuff, I get it. Food industries, like pharma industries, I get it. I've seen some of the ugliness of it, and I get it. But, I'm not going to go out and look for these nightmarish situations and look for this awful stuff and waste my precious energy, because that's taking away my sovereignty. I'm still going to be a sovereign being of mind and of energy. I don't care if I have to stay home for a little while. That's okay. If I feel like I'm protecting people, fine, I don't give a shit. But I will always protect my mind and my energy. So right now, Mother Teresa gave a quote that says, I was once asked why I don't participate in anti-war demonstrations. So to me like mouthing off and like, fight the government, fight the power, fight Bill Gates, fight the whatever, or fight fight Tom Hanks and Ellen DeGeneres and like all these other things. Like, that to me is like anti-war. That's anti-war talk. Do bad things need to come to light and stop? Yes. But there, to me, other ways for me to spend my energy. So it's an anti-war discussion. And Mother Teresa said, I said that I will never do that, but as soon as you have a pro-peace rally, I'll be there. Then I'm like, yes. So would I rather focus on that, like spreading the news about all these things that, I mean, people may or may not believe. I don't find it's been very effective to motivate people by fear or by like motivate them by saying, well, I know this truth, you don't, so you can choose to just sleep on, like, whatever. Or, say both sides say the same thing. Okay, both sides say that same rhetoric. You're asleep, no, you're asleep, no, you're a sheep, no, you're a sheep, no, blah, 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 all back and forth. If someone's going to talk to me now, talk to me about what we can do to become stronger as humans. So have the conversation of health and immune system strength. Would I rather talk about that shit, or do I want to talk about how do we make our immune system so goddamn strong that these type of pandemics don't have a chance? Or would I rather talk about how do we live a sustainable life, more and more independent from all the big corporations, because so many people right now are upset and scared because they're so they're slaves to this kind of system. They're over-mortgaged, they're over-financed, they're living in, the cities where there's packed with people and they can't go anywhere because that's affected the worst, or they're just like, they're sort of trapped by their own lifestyle now because they're slaves to their jobs. They're slaves to the corporations that are now closed and have said, thank you so much, sorry. We're slaves to the lifestyle. How do we become more independent? Or we can't go to the grocery store, only one person at a time. Well, how do we grow our own food so we don't have to worry about that stuff? How do we become more and more independent and sustainable living? That's a conversation I'd rather talk about that. Or how do people become financially independent? There's plenty of wealth in this world. There's no reason to have poverty. There's no reason for people to be struggling paycheck to paycheck or worse, or be on welfare. And I'm not saying this is not a welfare conversation. I don't blame people for that. I'm not against it, but I think they don't know any better. They don't know how. They don't know how to get themselves out of the hole. Imagine if we taught each other. Imagine the conversation I would love to have is, how do we educate people to be financially strong? So when this happens, people are like, no problem. I got this. Imagine if your immune system was so strong that your pandemic or any illness would be mild at best if you caught it. Imagine if you were so financially sound that, anytime you were asked to stay home for a month or two, you're like, okay, that's cool. And imagine if you grew your own food. So if you were asked to stay home or something happened and you could just be like, wow, okay, I don't need the grocery store as much right now. So, oh, well, you're rationing food, you're telling people what to buy. Well, that's too bad for you, but I have this over here. I mean, I would love to see more of these conversations out there, because that's the thing. We don't know. Many people don't know, and myself included. I need to learn all this too. If you were lucky to have parents or grandparents or a mentor who taught you all this stuff early, kudos to you. Awesome. Damn, help other people. Help other people figure it out, because it's not that, you might say it's simple, add and subtract, budget, don't live above your means, and save money. But obviously it's not that simple for people, or we wouldn't have the problems we have. We wouldn't have so many people dependent on this government system. I mean, shit. So to me, like I said, would you rather? What are the conversations that you would rather have right now during this whole thing? I would love to see more conversations around how to make us even stronger going forward. We still have the freedom to do that. No one's taken away that. I mean, people might be issuing tickets for people congregating on the street, or fining people, whatever they're doing. I don't know if it's even true. People are getting fines for things. Okay, they can't take away what you learn, what you know, and what you do with that knowledge. There's ways to get out of this matrix kind of thing. There's a way to leave behind the way we've been living, where our lifestyles are so not sustainable. That's the thing. Our lifestyles are not sustainable, most of us, so this stuff hurts, and it gets even scarier than it should be, because that's why we're so entrenched in this system. So I would, if any of you are teaching this, or you have ideas about all this, I'd love to hear them. Comment, let me know. Let's have more conversations about this instead of, shit, man, when am I, like, who's doing what shady behind the scenes? We can't really stop that. I'm not sitting at the White House, and even if I did, they'd probably shoot me or try to get in. Or, like, you're not going to stop your local police, or you're not going to stop, like, whatever. So what can you do to make sure that no matter what happens, you are absolutely confident and secure with your lifestyle, with your situation, and, that you're protected, and that no matter what, you have the resources to go forward and deal with whatever's dished out. And does it mean you have to sit down and you take injustices, or you have to agree to things? I'm not saying that. When the time comes, you can protest that shit, but you better make sure you're strong as fuck when you do go protest any of these things. You think freedoms are going to be taken away? You'd better be strong. You'd better have a strong immune system, you better be healthy, better have resources, or you better have a place to hide, or you better have a place you can go, or you like resources you can count on. Just saying. I mean, we have to do this. We have to do this now. And then also, getting more spiritually strong, getting more connected to what is real, our source, getting more connected there, following your own inner guidance, not being so influenced by outside things like we have been for decades. So that's it, man. Think about what you would rather talk about. What would you rather read? What would you rather hear? What would you rather learn or know or talk about? And I'm going to say, for me, it's empowering you, not disempowering you, is keeping your sovereignty, empowering, having more conversations about how do we empower ourselves even more. And right now, me picking up like a rifle and running down the street is not what I'm saying. Like, this just not, nope. If the police want to come get me, they'll get me. I'm not even saying that. I just feel like, what can I do to empower myself beyond that stuff? Because what do we really have is ourselves, our health, our mind, our spirit, our knowledge. That's it. Everything else can pretty much be taken away. So, just things to think about today, because I'm sure there'll be more news and more shit. And I'm being very, very mindful about my Facebook feed right now. And that's why I'm on TikTok a lot, because I need a break. But I'd love to have these conversations if any of you have any ideas that are not conspiracy theories, that are not political, that are not anything of that. But how do we become more empowered as humans going forward? How do we become more aware of our own power? Not aware or awake to someone else's power and someone else's words. Awake to your own. Awake to your own power.